Why, yes, that is in fact French toast made with homemade banana bread with a maple peanut butter spread on the side. Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, assuming that this has not been invented or patented, I give you Elvis toast, or King toast, because Elvis was the king, you know. Thank you very much. Yep. Actually, you know what, let's step outside for a minute. Get the scenic route out. So yeah, that looks pretty appetizing now, didn't it? Happy Sunday, everybody. Made, what you just saw there was a breakfast that I made for my, folks. We actually have a special visitor with us this weekend. It's a little complicated about who this particular person is. This person is my grandfather on my mother's side's second ex-wife. Yeah, the story about that's relatively on the complicated side. But you know what's not complicated? Is that she's still super awesome. She still loves us. And we love her, and she's still part of the family. And that's really all that matters. And as I've said many a time in these videos, family is super awesome. Maybe I didn't use those exact words, but I guess I indeed was, in fact, paraphrasing. Oh, and because it's right after Independence Day, USA, 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 USA. That's really cool. Anyway, sorry, just put the sun in your eyes. Shouldn't blind you though. So, yeah, might as well do that with a flag behind me. You know, hedge my bets. I couldn't do it on Independence Day, or day 185, as you all remember. So, yeah. But for the sake of this weekend as well, I am again donning the old red, white, and blue. See? Red, white, and blue. So, yeah. Last night, I guess we could call her my grandma. Why not? My grandma came up to visit. She actually, is actually quite, funny. After she divorced my grandfather on my mother's side, she lived in Rochester for a little while. And then she lived up in Boston, in the town of Reading, Massachusetts, which is actually where several other family members of mine live. And now she lives in Seattle. And she's visiting from Seattle. And the thing about the breakfast that I made is, I want to say it's been well over 20 years back when she was with my grandfather, that, excuse me, she actually showed me how to make French toast. And I didn't ever think I'd make it at the time. But to this day, I still remember her French toast recipe, which actually is also my grandfather's recipe, but she's the one who taught me how to make it, so I'll say it's hers. With that said, using that very French toast recipe, I applied it to homemade banana bread, or actually, it's banana nut bread, but enough with semantics. The point is, using homemade banana nut bread and the French toast recipe that I learned oh so many years ago, I made what you just saw earlier. And the maple peanut butter spread, I mean, peanut butter and bananas, Elvis, the king. I think you can do the math. So, yeah. I gotta say it turned out pretty nicely. Everyone's still asleep right now, that's why I'm out here. And it's actually relatively on the cold side, and that's why I'm wearing the jacket again. But to be fair, you can't beat any of this. There's got some fishermen out today. I've said this before doing these Cuco Lake videos, but for any hunting aficionados out there, and you guys know who you are, I'm looking at you, one of my brothers who just got engaged recently, as well as a friend of mine whose last name is an object in the sky, and my Irish friend who just got married. You got a lot of good fishing up here. Believe it or not, my area where I am right now, especially with all this seaweed, evil seaweed, is actually really good for fishing. You want to know a really... Oh, little fish just jumped up right there. Anyway, a really good spot, at least before we put the boat in, is actually right in here. You got some really good fishing right in there. Of course, that's before we put in the boat. Hey, you get to see sort of what the boat looks like in the back. That's really cool. And I gotta try and be very careful because I could potentially fall in. But there's a whole bunch of spider webs right here, and there's a big old spider. Don't worry, for any humane society people out there, I'm not gonna kill the spider. The spider can live. It's actually doing its job getting rid of all these flies, so that's really cool. So yeah, beautiful up here. Oh, I actually should be quiet because those fishermen out there are fishing and I don't want to scare the fish away. So, with that said, where was I? Oh, yeah. The only thing I thought else about doing with the breakfast is, I mean, you have restaurants that do the Elvis thing, have peanut butter bananas, but some of them also do like bacon, and honestly, the fact that it's banana nut bread, actually it is banana nut bread, I had some before making this video. The fact that it's banana bread, or banana nut bread, whatever you want to call it, and the fact it's with a maple peanut butter spread, I think that's indulgent enough. I mean, don't get me wrong, under normal circumstances I would totally add bacon, but all that stuff is for my folks who are much older than I am and therefore have to be worried about being health conscious. So I made enough. Nice little treat. Using, again, a French toast recipe I learned, I definitely want to say more than 20 years ago. But hey, it still works. Although to my chef friend from Gettysburg College, who is also a professional chef out in Baltimore, if you ever want the recipe, assuming you're actually watching this video, you know, you're totally free to call. We are friends on Facebook, you know. And you are one of the inspirations as to why I show off a little bit of what I cook in terms of photos. So, there is that. For the record, the person I'm describing is the exact person whom I would hire as a personal chef if I ever got big and rich and famous. Even though the fact I've showed you photos of guacamole, breakfast in bed I made for my father on Father's Day, and now what I am calling Elvis toast or King toast, you can be the judge on that one. You would probably wonder why I would ever have a personal chef. Well, to be perfectly honest, you have celebrities and professional athletes do it. Why not? Basically, everyone else is doing it. I'm just trying to be popular. I really have no other response for that one. But, hey, if there is one thing that I have going for me, it's the fact that, ladies, I just proved that I can cook things. Think about it. I am single, you know. Anyway, that's really all I have to say on that matter. Honestly, though, I'm looking forward to a great day. My grandparents should be coming up. My grandparents on my father's side. They should be coming up a little bit later today when it gets significantly warmer. I actually didn't look at the temperature before I went out, so I don't really know exactly how cold it is. But the fact that I'm wearing a coat, yet I'm still clearly wearing shorts, should indicate something. Ooh. I actually kind of like this scene. Hold on a second. I don't know if you can tell, but you can see sort of the steam or fog or whatever come off at the lake. I love looking at stuff like that. Yeah, it always fascinated me, you know? Like, when I was little and I first saw that, I actually thought the lake was boiling. I mean, I wouldn't know. I was a, not very smart little kid. A lot of kids are going to think that, or to some degree. But sites like that are why I like coming up here. And, I mean, if any of these Cuca Lake videos are any indication, other than the fact that you guys really seem to like them, it's the fact that I love being up here. I mean, believe it or not, many, many years ago, this area, the entire Finger Lakes region, actually, you know what? Since it's still around, yeah, I use present tense. This whole Finger Lakes area is the original wine country. Yes, I like to say this area was wine country before wine country was wine country. Seriously, yeah, like, I'm not showing the... I'm not going to show you the entire view on purpose. It's just that you can tell there. Oh, you can't really tell, but definitely on the bluff. That's the part of Cuca Lake that turns it into a Y, if you will. There's vineyards everywhere. And with beautiful scenery and beautiful weather, especially at this time of year, it totally works. But out in California, is the weather there consistently is better. A lot of really big wineries and distilleries, they ran out of business. But, there's still plenty around here. In fact, there's actually like 3 nearby here. Actually, yeah, I think like 3. At least 2. I gotta look again. But the point is, there's a lot of them. And one of the greatest things that's ever happened in terms of being around any sort of distilleries or wineries or whatever is, I actually have told you this before, but actually, I don't think I have told you this story, have I? When I was training for my first marathon, you have to do what's called a 20-mile taper. Basically, you have to run 20 miles. Basically, if you're able to run 20 miles, 6 more in comparison really shouldn't be that difficult. The route I took for this particular run, and keep in mind, I actually needed help from my mother to do this. We had to get up at... I knew this run was going to take like more than 3 hours just because I had no clue what I was doing. And plus, she had to be around to give me like Gatorade and water at the time, every several miles. I actually ran the entirety of the west side of Cuca Lake, as well as some change. And by change, I mean I actually headed, when I got to Branchport, which is beyond the bluff over there, that's only 50, from where I started in Hammondsport to Branchport, it was actually only 15 miles. Basically, if you ever do travel along West Lake Road, that's the name of the road that pretty much goes on the entirety of the west side of Cuca Lake, and you get to Branchport, there's a 4-way. I actually went right on that 4-way, headed to Penn Yan. And let's just say I if any of you guys are runners, let's just say when you get to mile 15 for that particular run, you turn right, head into Penn. It's then time to handle the hill. It's not a steep hill, but there's a long one. Kind of windy, if you will. But anyway, I'm actually digressing. The point I was trying to make is, when I got to the top of that hill, that's where a big collection of wineries are. And it was at a time of year when they were processing their grapes. I tell you what, the air was literally sweeter than honey. And that was one of the coolest things. It was the biggest pick-me-up I think I ever had. Especially when you're at like mile 16, 17 or whatever. Actually, it was between mile 15 and 16. But the point is, when you're running 20 miles and you smell something like that, that is a huge pick-me-up. Just like I hope these videos are a pick-me-up for you guys. And now time for the obligatory Hugo giant selfie shot that I have no idea what else to call because I am a moron. I have no idea what I am doing. Yeah, I got like guest stars in the back. So, in any case, thank goodness I'm wearing sunglasses because I am staring like smack dab directly into the sun. In the end, you can probably see the reflection of the sun in my sunglasses. From here, it kind of looks like the pupil is the pupil's white and my eyes are black when it looks like this. Actually, looks kind of cool. But with all this constant rambling going on, I should probably end before I do something stupid. So, please like, favorite, share, and hit that subscribe button. I can use the support on YouTube. I'm humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy today. I'm hopeful you all have a wonderful day today. And remember, if any of you guys ever want to talk or chat, I'll always be here to lend an ear, and I'll always have your back. So take care, everybody.